welcome to episode 54 of the Wilderness Podcast, your weekly old school RuneScape podcast, the show done by casuals for casuals. Damn, that was a mouthful to say. I am your host, Dilz, and with me as always is Deagin.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. Fucking stars have aligned this week, apparently. I saw you logged in. What was going on with that?
Yeah,
Got something to tell us?
Yeah, I didn't have enough money for rent, so I've just kind of sold my bank and I real world traded all my shit.
Nice.
Yeah.
You did it.
Yeah.
You finally did it.
So, my school's on strike.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. At first I was like happy because this week was super fucked with work, and I was like, I don't know. I was thinking I might have to pull an all-nighter, and then I also forgot.
A blessing in disguise.
I also forgot I had a test that was like for the Wednesday coming up. I'm like, oh fuck, so I gotta study for that too. Jesus Christ. I'm super fucked. And then Sunday it's like, oh yeah, there's a strike. And then, so I'm like I was happy about it in the beginning. And then
you start reading about the possibilities of where it could lead. You're like, I'm paying money for this shit.
How it's most likely 2 or 3 weeks. The schools don't want to give the money back for the semester to students. And last time this happened, my professor pretty much suggested that if it lasts 3 weeks, then you should just drop out for the semester and retake it.
So what happens when a whole class of people drops it?
The chances of us getting our tuition back is a lot higher.
Fair enough. So that's when the students start protesting. They go on strike.
Because, so it's across, I believe, 33 schools in Ontario, so you can't Google and find out which school I'm in, thankfully.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that was like, sweet, I can talk about it, because it's not just one school. There's a bunch. And, one of my buddies is in business, and he was like, oh yeah, it's fine. The teacher just sent an email being like, alright, in 3 weeks you're gonna be here, so just keep studying, because it's business, right? So it's all,
yeah,
study heavy.
Business as usual.
Yeah, nice. So, I go on my school website, and I go onto my email, and the teachers are, pretty much MIA. And,
and the whole site's scrapped.
Yeah. Actually the site went down because so many students kept logging in and trying to find out if the school's on strike.
Yeah, fair enough.
Shit, lost my train of thought. Oh yeah. So, yeah, pretty much, my program's really, project heavy. There's a lot of, I have weekly projects that I have to be handing in. I have,
okay.
between, 2 and 3 a week. Plus, I gotta be studying for my tests and shit. So, yeah, in 3 weeks, pretty much I was, looking into how the school plays it out if it goes up to 3 weeks. And they just condense everything. They spend, a week or two condensing everything that you missed. So that means I'd have, 3 projects that would be due, and the way my schedule is, I'd have, a final project due in 2 days, which, they take, well over 20 hours to do.
I'm sure they'll figure out, a middle ground. I'm sure they'll sympathize a little bit. They're not just going to be like, all right, your guys are back, and 2 of your projects are now considered late because you're supposed to hand them in 2 weeks ago. And it's just like, what the fuck? You guys are on strike. Man, no excuses.
The only thing is that they have to stretch out, I have a test, this week alone, I have 3 major projects that are due. And then a test that's a really big test that would be for the Wednesday. And it'd be super content heavy. And if it goes 3 weeks, and then 2 weeks from this Wednesday, I would have pretty much the exact same, I have 3 other major you know what I mean? So I would be super far behind.
Sure.
And I can probably find somebody that is in a further semester and just get all their work and then just kind of make my own, instead of copying theirs, I would just alright, so this is what they want me to do, I'll just kind of continue off of what I have started.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'd have floor plans to do, facades to do, and roofing plans to do. And, for one class. And then, so I have so much shit I have to be doing. And, the longer they stretch it out, the more you're kind of getting fucked over. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, as long as... See, I don't know if they would push back all of, like, your whole course back, like, let's say 3 weeks, so that instead of cutting out
they wouldn't
May,
extend,
you'd cut out in June.
They wouldn't extend it. They've already said they won't be extending it.
Yeah, well, I guess you'll have to see how it plays out. I'm sure your teachers will be sympathetic because sounds like they're kind of using the students as a bargaining, as like leverage.
Yeah, they do it right around midterm, so it's pretty obvious that.
Yeah, but
don't give a fuck.
Yeah, you gotta treat the staff nicely, right? That's going to the administration.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know. I don't even know what the hell's going on.
I mean, as much as I'm getting dicked over, I'm kind of on the teacher side. It's really fucked how like it's the whole strike happening mainly because part-time and seasonal teaching is like super shitty. They like, so if you're like part-time, you work 3 hours a week. And so you get paid for 3 hours a week, and you don't get paid for any prep time, any grading time.
I see.
You don't get any health benefits, nothing. There's no benefits working, no dental or anything. And there's also zero job security. They could literally just drop you whenever they want. And they don't even get offices. So that means instead of spending time at school, like while they're grading students coming in, they have to like meet up with students or like email them and take more time out of their day, right?
All right. Yeah, fair enough.
There's a lot more to it. I don't really want to go into it. I'm getting bored of it already. So I'll just mention I probably sound stuffy as hell.
You sound like you're recovering from some sort of disease that did the lack of school make you sick?
Yeah, I think so. No, I was getting sick beforehand, and now it's just spiraling out of control.
Shit.
So,
well, that's a rough one. I mean, at least it gives you a chance to recover at home instead of in the classroom.
Yeah, I would be so fucked if I had to.
Sneezing mucus all over your draft paper?
Yeah, it'd be fun to redo. Fun to redo, there's snot everywhere.
That's fucking gross. All right, well,
yeah, that's everything interesting in real life, but in the video game world, I got a good amount of shit done.
Nice.
On RuneScape. Yeah, so I'll just start off from like I guess chronologically. So I started doing duo raids with my buddy. He got ready. He's finally all set.
All right, you. I think you mentioned it before that you did it once. One go through.
I don't know if I mentioned it on the podcast. I've tried it before. I've tried solos and unable to successfully do it.
Right, I remember you talking about that. So you found a partner and you're jumping in.
When I started gearing up for raids, it was like me and him that were doing it. Like we were gearing up to do raids together.
Sure.
And yeah, so when I think I mentioned when I soloed, Tecton and Vespula were like my walls. I couldn't get over.
Yeah, I remember that.
And in duos, we haven't even come across Tecton yet, but Vasa Nysterio or Nistero or whatever, Bistro. I don't know how the fuck you say that last part of the boss's name, but
I think it's just up for interpretation.
Yeah, Vasa, like we actually couldn't beat him. It was super fucked. We would get him down to like 60% and we're doing the mechanics fine. And then
you want to give us a quick walkthrough of what the mechanics are?
All right.
Which might explain why 2 people might have difficulty compared to like, I don't know, 5, let's say.
He's this bullshit like rock guy, I guess. I don't really know, with 4 legs. And so you walk in, he like teleports you to him, stuns you, and then deals like 80% of your health, your current health and damage.
Shit.
So the whole point is you stay around like 25 HP.
Oh, okay. That's sketch.
Like these crystals are positioned like, so when he's in the middle, there's like little lanes, and it's kind of like in a swastika. And that gives you an idea of how the lanes are. And at the end of each lane, there's like a crystal. So he'll like go from the middle and you'll go like east and then he'll go north or whatever. And then he'll go to his crystal and you'll start just like standing there and you have to like destroy the crystal before he's, done doing whatever he is with it. And if you don't do it in time, he heals up. And then he goes back to the middle and then goes to another crystal and he just does it over and over again. And he's like immune to damage while he's doing that crystal shit, so you can't just attack him through it. So what you do is you're like ranging him while he's going to the crystal and chilling in the middle. And he's like shooting a fuck ton of rocks out, but our main issue was like, we didn't bring Ruby Bolt's E, and normally, like, when I soloed it, and all the guides, it's like, most of them are people using blowpipes.
Mm-hmm.
And so we would blowpipe them, but we would get them down to like 60%, and then you just can't hit them anymore. Which is weird, because when I soloed them, I didn't have too much trouble. Compared to, like, we struggled on them, and we ended up just saying, fuck it. But,
so what are the benefits of having the enchanted Ruby Bolts?
The spec from the Ruby Bolt's E, it does percentage based on their current health.
Okay.
So,
enough said.
Yeah, you can get some disgusting damage. That's why Bolt's E, like the Ruby Bolt's E and the Diamond Bolt's E, are really popular for bossing, because, like, if you're doing KBD or something, right? Or Sarah, Corp, even. I see people, like, if you're going to Corp Masses, people bring Ruby Bolt's E. Just any boss with, like, stupidly high health, you get that spec right off the bat, and it's, like, so much damage, and then you get it down to about half, and you swap to the diamonds.
And what do the diamonds do?
It, like, pierces armor. Their defense.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so... Yeah, but that was, like, our only failure we had, and a lot of it came down to just, like... The first bit, we were, like, super confused, because he deals so much damage, and if you eat at the wrong time, you literally get one-shotted.
Oh, fuck.
The way, like, the game, like, the way the boss works, this is how I assume it works. The second he gets to, like, a crystal, a timer counts down from 1 minute. And then, so let's say you destroy the crystal at 30 seconds. And then it feels like that timer rolls over the next time he gets to a crystal. So the next crystal he goes to, you'll have 30 seconds. You know what I mean?
All right.
And then, like, or if you do it in 45, like, you'll have 15, whatever. Like, I feel like, because there's times where, like, he literally walks up to it and then walks away, and he just heals a bunch. You're like, what the fuck? What the fuck? That's bullshit. So maybe there's more to it. I'm not too sure. I was able to do it on solo, though, and, like, when I was doing, I couldn't hurt him. It was weird. Like, we'd rip him down to 60%, and that was it. But yeah, that was the only struggle we had on that one raid. So, and Vespula is, like, super easy with 2 people.
Yeah? Yeah,
so that's kind of our plan, is to skip Vasa and just do Vespula, and then eventually when we have to do Tecton, we want to learn him, so...
Figure that one out.
Yeah.
So how do you find the Ohm fight?
Ohm is really hard. Really
is it like
fun,
a fun...
Really fun. Except the last phase is kind of frustrating. And, I don't know if you've watched the Ohm fight, but...
I watched it when it, like, was first released. I'd watched some, like, Twitch streams, and I watched some videos and shit, but I haven't really seen much of it since. It's been, like, almost a year, so...
Yeah.
I remember there was, like, waves of fire, if I remember correctly.
Kind of. I know what you're talking about, yeah.
See, the problem is I get them mixed up with the Queen Black Dragon from RS3, because I remember looking at that boss and thinking they were kind of similar.
Well, with Ohm, there's 3 phases of the fight. And, throughout the fight, he's got some basic mechanics that, like, happen on certain phases. Like, one of them is, I think it happens on all phases, is he shoots, like, 2 lines of fire with 1 gap in the middle. This is, like, what you're talking about.
Okay,
and, if you're actually just moving left and right, you can dodge it, but it's kind of hard with the ping I get to do that consistently and not lose DPS.
So it's like a RuneScape specific exploit where, like, similar to, like, the Rogue's Den, where you can hop over some of the one-tiled traps just by stepping in front of it and then clicking on the other side.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, like, cause, like, he like, chooses, he's like, oh, there's Deagin, or there's Dilz, and then he'll, like, shoot out the thing on you, so, like, if you just move during that window that you don't really see, there's no visual cues for when he's doing that. But yeah.
Oh, okay.
What's supposed to happen is you get caught in it, and then you need to, or someone needs to use a water spell on one of the flames, and then you walk through it, and if you don't, you take, like, 70 damage. Yeah, so it's,
interesting.
Yeah, it's a really fun fight, but between each phase and during the entire end of the 3rd phase, like, well, let me step back a second. So during each phase, it's pretty much kill like one hand, then kill the other hand. You kill his left and right. And then on the third phase, you have to kill him at the same time. And then you have to kill the head. But in between each phase and while you're killing the head on the third phase, there's like falling rocks.
True.
And so when you're like
coming back to me now?
Yeah, so my only issue with that is like just the way RuneScape is, the way they've decided to show it, it's like you'll just you know rocks are falling because like you just kind of see them fall, but they kind of fall on an angle. Does that make sense? Like, it doesn't like you don't go, oh, okay, those squares are, you know, those 9 squares don't go near because you're gonna take damage. It's like, all right, it's either those 9 or those 9 right below or to the right of it or to the left.
Yeah,
like it kind of cuts off like a huge part, and so when the first couple times we did it, like even our last attempt, it's still like, holy fuck, these rocks are annoying because you just start running too far and you'll run into other falling rocks.
Yeah, okay, I can see the frustration there.
Yeah, but every time by the end of it, I'm like, okay, I got a good method down how to avoid all the damage. But boss is super fun. I don't know, raids are pretty enjoyable for the most part, and we're getting a lot better, so I took the liberty to record. I'm going to be recording points for like, I don't know, maybe like the first 50 or first 100 raids, how many I finish off with.
Oh, okay.
So our first raid we did, I finished with 123 points.
Is that
is
good
really
or
bad?
Okay.
Like, okay, so
what are you trying to aim for? Give us a reference point.
21k plus.
21,000 plus. Oh,
Yeah.
right. So first one, 130. Okay. In the triple digits.
For that one, I got 1 mahogany plank for 2.5 hours worth of work.
All right, that's about, like, what is it? 1 GP per 10 seconds or something?
Minus 100k profit.
Okay, yeah, there it is. Right,
But,
supplies.
And then the second one, I got 18.8k. So,
1,000 points. Good.
A very, very big improvement.
Yep.
And then the third one was 13,000, and it was because it was super laggy when we were playing. We had a DC scare in the middle of it, and during Ulm, like, I legit died because I just stopped moving, and nothing was like registering. So that's my excuse for that. But I mean, at this point, like all my points will be all over the place. Like it was super weird because we went in pretty blind. Like my one buddy kind of knew of some bosses, and I just knew of like what my solo experience was. And so like when we went into Vespula, I'm like, all right, this is what my issues were when I did it. So he's got 99 range and shit. So I'm like, all right, so and I like explain what he's supposed to do, and then like I kind of run the food to the grubs, and I help kill him and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And so like we kind of just like went off from like, oh yeah, this is from what I did, and some of the shit I did was wrong, right? Eventually, like on our first run, it's like, oh okay, let's quickly look it up because we're kind of struggling for this boss, and then we'd like, oh okay, we're just off by a tiny bit, and then we get to Ulm, and we're like, oh shit. And the videos that we see, it's like Wooks, and like Wooks he's a really good resource for the raids, but the way he fucking does shit is so ridiculous. He's like, all right, so you want to pray flick consistently for 5 minutes straight while running on these 3 specific squares for the whole fight.
Yeah,
and that's how he does Ulm, and you're like, what? I'm not that good at the game. What the fuck? So like, so a lot of it is like, all right, what is like? There's no guide really for like a normal person. There's just random videos that have horrible audio and shit of just like an average player like learning the fight. It's like, hey, this is the most advanced shit you could do. Good luck. Yeah. So a lot of it, like our first time doing Ulm, we were getting fucked. Like we were getting destroyed, and we learned, okay, we have to bring water runes when we go. We didn't know about that.
Does like ice barrage or anything like that help?
I have no idea. I literally bring water strike, like the mind rune. I bring that in a rune pouch when I do my raids now. And I just kind of like shoot a spell at one of the flames and just, douse the fire.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
there's like a lot of things that we just learned as we did it. Like when we get to the last phase with all the falling rocks, he summons these little whirlpool things in the ground, and you have to stand on them. And if you don't, he heals a bunch. And so when we were fighting him, like we actually ended up running out of food. We had no more like seeds, nothing for Ohm by the end of it on our first round. But we're like, nope, we're not giving up. We're just gonna do suicide runs. Who cares? We just want to get the kill count.
Which is where the 130 points comes from, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then like, we learned like, okay, stay on the pools, you know, he won't heal off you, like, by doing that. Okay, like, we should, like, we should do this and this at this point. Like, we figured, like, most of it out the first run, and then I went and Googled, I went on, like, the Wikipedia for our second run, just to see, and we missed a couple things. Like, he'll shoot these, like, spells at you, and it'll be, like, red, green, or blue, or / purple. And depending on what it is, you have to pray against it. And if you don't, you get hit for like 40 and it drops your overhead.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, there's just like a lot of little things that we learned. And so, yeah, lots like smooth sailing from here. But from the second raid with 18.8k, I got like 260k worth of runes. And
oh, wow.
And then 13k, I got like 100k worth of herbs or something like that. 100 and like...
Damn, that's... sounds alright.
Not really, considering you spend like an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, still, let's just talk about the single loot.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun.
I mean, it's good to see you're not just getting like I always had the impression that there were times you would, even with a high amount of points, you get like, oh, here's 10k worth of gold, or, you know, 10k GP, and you're just like, motherfucker. Kind of like when you're killing like the cave kraken or something, and it just drops nothing, or a bucket.
Pirate boots.
Yeah, pirate boots. Even that, at least it's something. Fucking buckets, what the hell. But yeah, I remember when the raids first came out, we did a 4-part series, sort of like a little podcast collection, I guess. I don't know what you would want to call it, but
yeah,
just going. Remember all of our resources was like, you know, different streams, some YouTube videos, the wiki, some Reddit threads, and like, I know that when I'm like watching a Dagginoth Kings video or like a guide, and I'm reading the wiki and stuff, like it explains sort of what you have to do, but it's a lot different than actually doing it yourself. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot you're just like, oh well, shit, I didn't realize this, and I didn't take this into account and stuff like that. So yeah. It's interesting to hear it, because a lot of things you're saying, I'm like, I vaguely remember talking about that on the podcast episode, but shit, man, we easily could have, you know, butchered it, but given a
bad description, bad explanation.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe maybe for the anniversary, we'll do like an episode of revamping, quickly going over everything in a raid and what you need to do to get your foot in the door. Because honestly, it's a lot of fun, and if we can get more people in the CC to like level up and get ready to raid, like it would be so fun to get like wild CC Chamber of Xeric going.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. I'm not even there yet, so I'm super excited, but I know a lot of people are, you know, getting there and stuff like that. So that'll be fun to see. That's something that we definitely should and will do in the future.
Yeah, it'll be good fun. With doing the raid, we probably did talk about it, but it was also so long. It was almost a year ago. We went over this in like, what, January?
February.
Yeah, February, yeah. Like
January, February.
Yeah, and so just a lot of it I forgot, and yeah, I don't know. It's pretty fun, though. I'm liking it a lot.
Sounds fun.
So other than that, I just started slaying afterwards. I just started doing some Slayer, and because I also need the money too. I had like 2 mil in the bank, and
shit.
So I got a Slayer task of KBD,
cool.
And I woke up just kind of like, hey, it's school time. Wait, school's on strike. All right, I know a Black Dragon task.
RuneScape time.
Yeah, so I guess I'm gonna go do some KBD. And I actually just like, I'm like watching Netflix and killing KBD, and I just like look over and I see like fireworks happening, and I'm like, huh. And then I like look at the chat bar and it's like, congratulations, you got 99 defense. I was like, fuck. Huh, cool. All right, I like just didn't give up, just continued watching my Netflix.
Would you look at that? I'm max combat.
Yeah, cool. And then I finished my task and I'm like, Alright, well, I'm level 122, almost 123. I'm just gonna get two prayer levels so I can have 123 combat. So I went and did that like right afterwards, and then...
So what's your prayer at?
74.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And, yeah, so it's kind of fun. If I get 99 prayer, that's 3 combat levels.
Fuck, that's pretty crazy. You're almost there.
A lot of money to max out to get the highest combat, but
yeah, no kidding.
It was like $1 million to get those 2 levels, so it wasn't too bad. I made that from like Necreals alone, so I'll take it.
Oh yeah.
And then after that, I was like, okay, well, I guess now I'm slaying through range. I guess that's a thing. And I'd sold my primordials a while ago for raids, because you're using a lot more range than melee within a raid.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Just generally. And so I bought Pegasions with them. I'm like, oh, okay, you know. And I ended up selling like a bunch of shit in my bank, including my torture. And I bought an anguish. I have like 10 mil or something, or 12 mil sitting in my bank right now. So I could buy the torture if I wanted to, but yeah, so my plan is to kind of just go max range through Slayer and then, you know, do raids in between. But, I also want to, now that I have, like, now that I'm training range in Slayer, I want to change all my Slayer tasks to, like, I want to block tasks that I'm supposed to melee kind of, except for gargoyles, like, except for the ones that make good money.
Yeah.
But I want to change all my tasks around and make them, like, range friendly, just so I can get my range up. And then I'm also debating of barraging, you know, like dust devils and shit like that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so I'm kind of like going through that. But I also want to get Lumbridge Elite, so I get the extra block on Slayer tasks, and then I can also high elk 30 times a day with a ring.
True.
Which means I can go to dust devils or necreals or whatever and barrage or burst, I guess, and then be able to high elk still.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, so
if I'm not mistaken, aren't you able to use the fairy rings without the Draenor staff?
That's all. Yeah, the Draman. Yeah. Oh yeah, so yeah, that's and lunar staff, because you can also use the lunar staff.
Yeah,
as a replacement. Yeah, that's also like a really nice benefit. But my main motivation, I guess, is the extra task and then the ring. And the ring is super helpful. Okay. But so all I need is 8 smithing levels, I think. And so I kind of sat down, just breaking it down, because like I know I can just look up efficient, like, you know, leveling or money making, you know what I mean? I can just go into Wikipedia and do it, but I like look up the numbers, but I like kind of figuring it out myself.
Okay. So, yeah.
I like comparing, like, this is what I would do, but is there any other methods that would be better? Okay, what would be better for experience? What would be better for money? Like, I just kind of do that with like a lot of shit and just kind of get a good, and you know, every time I skill, generally I'll take a slower route just to make more money.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like, what's the point of skilling then? Like, I know I could just slay for the money and then buy the fastest way. That's kind of like more efficient, but like, I don't have.
It's about the journey, not the destination.
Yeah, and I just need money still, right? Like, I'm gonna be needing money for a long time. I have a lot of things on like my wish list that I want to be buying.
Oh yeah, you'll need like fucking 5 bill to basically have all the best items in the game.
Yeah, I still want to get my spectral back. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to get like a lot of my items back. I want to just be able to swap between range, mage, and melee, like not best in slot jewelry and shit, without having to like, hey, I'm ranging now, time to sell off a bunch of shit, including my torture, so I have some money just in case, and then you know. Now I can buy the anguish. Like, I want to just be able to have it all. Like, there's a lot of shit I want to do, but also I want 99 prayer and shit like that.
Oh yeah.
So there's a lot of goals, I guess, items and skill wise I need to get. So anyways, I was
what smithing level are you working towards?
Working towards 83.
83, and how are you going to go about doing that? Did you figure it out, or are you still on the drawing boards?
So I was going to do mithril darts because I'm like, it's AFK kind of, and it's okay experience and you make some money. So 75 to 83, I'm making 1.5 mil.
That doesn't seem like much at all.
But it's 30 hours of smithing.
Oh god, that sounds like horrible in every single way possible.
Yeah, so...
Besides maybe gaining the levels, but still, fuck, 30 hours?
Yeah, and I was like, that is shitty. And then I'm like, wait a minute, there's a thing called Blast Furnace. So then I started looking at the numbers for Blast Furnace, and double the experience, 12 or 13 times the profit.
Okay, so better in every single way.
Yeah,
Is that
it's
what you're
more
saying?
click intensive. It's
there it is.
roughly 16 hours of Blast Furnace I'll need to do. I need 26 mil to like dump into the bars, but I make 12.2 mil profit.
It's a lot nicer.
Yeah, and
You could actually buy something with that.
yeah, exactly. It's a really big big profit, big
improvement.
profit. But yeah, so I'll probably do it in chunks of 10 mil. That's what I'm thinking. Spend 10 mil on the ores, and then go at it. But I need a coal bag first.
Okay.
So now I'm in Motherlode mining, getting a coal bag. I'm like, I have like 15 or something nuggets. I got that today. Just been like AFK and doing some shit.
And it's what, like 100?
Yeah, I need 100. And then once I get the coal bag, I have everything. So I never have to go back to Motherlode mining.
Yeah, that's
for
one
like
thing
a
I need
blue
there.
scroll or some shit. Yeah, so like it actually amazed me how much better Blast Furnace is than what's it called? Mithril Darts. The only thing is though, I didn't factor in how much money I'd be wasting on staminas.
Oh, true.
So I'm going to say like probably not, but let's just be safe and say 10 mil profit. Let's just pretend I'm going to spend 2 mil on stamps, but I don't think I'm going to.
Okay.
But maybe I will though, who knows. But yeah, I don't know. So I got a big grind and it's kind of fucked. Like I was thinking about it and like, cause I mean, I guess everybody, shit, I've talked to some people in the CC, like way back in the day, people mentioned like, oh, I'd love to be able to stream like RS full time or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was thinking like, you know what? If I was a YouTuber and I had to do this for money, to like live, this is literally 16 hours. Well, more than that, but let's pretend Motherlode mining isn't like a factor. 16 hours for pretty much next week. I'm going to go, yeah, I got the smithing level. You know what I mean? Like right now, this is the most I'm getting out of it in terms of like talking about it. Just like my plan, how I came about it, how unexpectedly good it was. Like it's like I gotta dump 16 hours into Blast Furnace, which is like running back and forth pretty much.
Hey, that's 2 8-hour shifts.
Just to be like, yeah, guys,
you gotta treat it like it's work. You gotta wake up at 7:30, start grinding. You take a 15-minute break around 9 o'clock, get some coffee, get back to her, take a lunch break at 12. Keep going till about 5 o'clock. Bob's your uncle, and you're halfway there.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe.
Pack it up at 5 o'clock, go do some raids.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I was planning on doing it in like chunks of like 4 hours. Like 4 hours.
Start streaming. You answered your own question earlier. Start streaming. Do your little smithing marathon.
Yeah, nobody wants to watch that bullshit. I don't even want to be doing it.
It's an untapped market. Nobody's doing this 16-hour of smithing streams.
Yeah, but I don't know. I kind of don't want to.
There's a reason for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of shit I got to be doing for this week, and hopefully by next week I'll be like, hey guys, I did it, but probably not. Because I do want to stay on top of like studying and shit.
Yeah. That's where maybe the mithril darts might be kind of nice. Yeah. Take a break and do some studying while you AFK it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I'll like go do it for like an hour or two, get off, study. Just gotta do that over and over again.
Kill.
I think I'm probably missing something. I did a bunch of shit today or this week on RS, so there's probably something I'm missing, but fuck it. What about yourself?
Myself. Man, my work week has slowed the fuck down. Like, I'm still at work and shit. It's just like the work itself has just gotten so minimal.
Man, imagine if mobile was out at this point.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. And I'm like, the problem, mobile's going to come out and it's going to start getting really fucking busy again. And then we're going to be busy for the whole year. And then it's going to come, you know what I mean? I got to wait another fucking year to be this slow. But it's fucking killing me. Like, that's exactly what I've been thinking.
Go to the bathroom for like 30 minutes, do a Slayer task.
Oh, man, that'd be amazing. I don't even need to. I just go find a basement and say I'm going to clean that shit out and spend 2 or 3 hours doing it.
Yeah.
And like no one would, that's the thing, no one would even know. Yeah, I'm sitting there thinking like, fuck, if I had RuneScape Mobile, I'd be making so many gains right now.
Yeah.
And the problem is like I just go on the subreddit and I just basically like I look up at all the, you know, the memes of the day, look through all the top posts and yeah, get tired of that pretty fast. And then I just basically go on new, like the new post, and I just sit there hitting refresh like every 2 minutes. Like, okay, anyone post something interesting? Anyone posting something that they want to discuss? Like, I'm like, I need to fucking fill this RuneScape itch. Mm-hmm. Which it's not good. Mentioning that, though, I don't think it'd be good if mobile RuneScape came out, because fuck, man, I've been no-lifing this game. It feels like that this way for the past couple weeks now, but...
Yeah, you gotten like since I took my little hiatus and I came back, like you've gotten so much progress.
I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. A little conflicting, but I'm just going on Crystal Math Labs right now, and I've gotten about 3 million experience this week.
Nice.
That's a lot because I work a full-time job and shit too, right? Mm-hmm. So it's quite a bit.
Yeah,
and
that's some solid grinding.
Oh, it's intense because I keep saying this every week. I'm super motivated to get ready for the raids that you've been just mentioning about, and as well as the new raids and the new content that's coming out next year and stuff like that. I just want to be prepared for when it does drop. And yeah, just kind of just going hard. So,
are you planning on doing Dragon Slayer 2 on release? Because they did release like this week the requirements for it.
Whoa, spoilers.
A little bit of a teaser.
A little teaser. I like that better. I would love to be able to try it the day it comes out. It sounds like I mentioned this before, but when Monkey Madness 2 was released, I was at work and I was on the subreddit basically clicking refresh every 2 minutes to see what was going on. But it was really cool to see like every thread that would pop up that day was, you know, people talking about it, what they liked, what they didn't like, or people getting stuck, trying to figure out what to do next, or people were like, oh shit, this streamer just figured out how to do this, or this streamer just did that. Like, everyone was kind of following along and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So that was really cool, and I remember people were just getting stuck, like, all the time. Like, they had a thread that was just sticky to the top, and it was just basically, like, people being like, all right, how far has everyone got? I'm stuck at this part. We're stuck at this part. No one can figure out what to do after this part. So I was just watching that and following along just through, just kind of reading it and shit. So that was kind of cool just to do that. And it seemed like a lot of fun. So I want to say I would love to do that, but at the same time, I could see it being super frustrating as well. Mm-hmm. Because, yeah, it's questing in RuneScape, which, you know, RuneScape has an awesomely unique way of doing their quests compared to other MMOs. But there's also with some of the puzzles and shit like that, some of it gets really fucking not irritating, but really confusing and really frustrating when you have a guide to follow. So I can't even imagine when you don't have a guide. It's just, you know, trial and error this, trial and error that. But for the time being, yeah, I think I'm going to try Dragon Slayer 2 when it comes out.
Nice.
But yeah, we'll have to see.
Planning on doing the same thing.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Yeah, what else did you do this week, though?
Quite a bit, but not a lot at the same time. I've basically just been doing Slayer. That's basically it. Non-stop Slayer to get my combat stats up.
Yeah.
I told you that I was thinking of maybe getting one more attack level, getting it to 93, and then just going defense and kind of ruining my amazingly great PKing Edgeville account. Even though I'm fucking terrible at Edgeville PKing, but hey, I got a few kills. I kill a guy every now and then. Mm-hmm.
Lose a couple of tentacle whips in the process.
Yeah, lose the whip every now and then as well. So it all evens out, sort of. Not really, but yeah. So I got that attack level, and then I just decided to level up my defense. And damn, I've been just skyrocketing through those levels. I think I'm at 77 defense right now.
Nice.
So the last time we recorded, I believe I was 71. So also, I should have mentioned this before, but we have to keep in mind we're recording this like a day or two late just because there was like a tornado going through. Right?
Oh yeah, it was fucked.
It kind of made recording not the greatest. Plus, if there's a power outage, that would have fucking sucked.
Yeah, we were like set up to do it one day, and then I'm like kind of like prepping for the show, and I just hear like, and my balcony door started vibrating. I'm like, what the fuck? And I open up my door to just like gusts of winds. I have like little shitty camping chairs out of my balcony that I just like I'll sit on.
Yeah,
that I'll use, and they were just like completely flipped upside down, and
damn,
it was so windy. Like it was fucked. I was like, oh god. But
yeah, it was pretty crazy. So yeah, we had to push it back a little bit as well. But yeah, I was on Discord with actually a listener of the show. We were just talking, and as we were just like chit chatting, all of a sudden he heard like a huge bang going on outside. I'm like, holy fuck, I gotta go see what's going on. And I parked my car like right underneath this tree, and there's this huge branch that fell off that tree, but luckily it didn't hit my car. It like went right behind it. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna pull my car up a little bit and back to grinding defense.
Yeah.
Let's get back to her. So yeah, I just want to explain that as well. But anyways, here I am, 77 defense, making a lot of gains there. I'm 90 Slayer. So that's sweet. I can kill dark beasts. And for some reason I got it confused and I thought Cerberus comes at level 93 and then the Smoke Devils comes at like 96 or 95. For some reason I just thought of it that way. I thought Dark Devils were at 91.
Mm-hmm.
Not Dark Devils, Dark Beasts. But now I got that all mixed up, which made me a lot more excited to get that next level, because Cerberus is level 91, so I'm really close to getting that. And luckily I'll have the defense level, so I don't just get absolutely massacred. I mean, I probably will, but like I'll be able to stand a fighting chance after a few runs.
Yeah, the growing pains of Cerberus is kind of a bitch.
Yeah.
But really fun.
It's better than doing it with 70 defense.
Yeah, exactly.
Besides that, I get some clues every now and then. Nothing worth mentioning really, but one of the master clues I got caused me to get 75 fire making, so I did that through Wintertod. We'll just throw that in there. Nothing interesting happened there, except for I would get distracted. Mm-hmm. I'd look away, and then Wintertod would get me killed. 'Cause that's just how I roll, apparently. Mm-hmm. Oh, I had to do Darkness of Halo Veil. Yeah. Darkness of Halo Veil. As well. I didn't have that quest done, so I had to do that for a clue scroll, and that's a pretty fucking cool quest. I haven't done it before, but doing it made me like kind of excited for the Theater of Blood, because that's what the area of the Theater of Blood's going to be getting placed. Yeah. But on top of that, I'm surprised that it was just a quest, and that was all the content it was. There was nothing else you could really do in that area. It just seems like an awesome quest, because you have these like vampires that were flying around, and every now and then they would jump down and they'll ask you to they'll just kind of bother you, and you can say like, oh yes, you can take a bite from me and suck some of my blood, or you can try to run away from them or fight them or something like that. Mm-hmm. 3 options, but yeah, they were pretty cool and unique monsters, and I'm surprised you never really had mobs there that you could fight for a Slayer task or anything like that. I'm surprised they just kind of...
I mean, I'm kind of thankful for that, because getting through that parkour broken house obstacle course type thing is so brutal.
Yeah, it is kind of a bitch, but like I said, it was like a really cool area. It was looked well designed.
Yeah, it was really cool.
But the fact that you don't even know it exists unless you have to get it done for like a clue scroll or something, I'm trying to think. There's not really any rewards from it that were super, necessary to get. Mm-hmm. A little bit of experience. That's all that comes to mind. I don't know, but yeah, pretty cool. You convinced me to work towards that Sarah God sword, so I've just been plugging away, saving up for that.
Nice.
It'd be nice. I might actually have it in a month, maybe, depending on how well the drops come.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I'm getting to that level where I could easily get lucky with a drop and just be like, oh, wow, that really adds 5 mil to the bank.
Yeah.
Which really helps.
doing like Cerberus, and like I got the primordial drop. I was like, oh, 20 mil. All right. And I just,
yeah, there we go.
Bought a bunch of shit with it. It's like, cool.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. On top of that, getting 75 defense opens up all the more armors that I need to buy.
Mm-hmm.
DFS, primordial, Serp helmet. Blech.
Yeah, I find with the DFS, the price changes so much that I actually like stopped buying it. Like I would buy it and do my dragon tasks for the day, and then I would sell it before I went to bed and try and break even or make a little bit of money off of it. And just because it's an item I rarely use, so I'd like I sold my Guthans this week, and I bought it for 8 mil, sold it for 5 mil.
Yeah, see, I hate doing that. When I buy an item, I like to just keep it, because then it's just like, doesn't really matter what you spent on it, because if you're not going to sell it, then the gold is kind of irrelevant for the most part.
Yeah.
I am pretty sure that is all I got done for the most part. Hopefully for next week, I'll be, give it 2 weeks, and I think I'll have I'm debating between stopping at 80 or 85 defense. I'm not too sure yet. Maybe in between there.
You can always just go straight to 90.
Yeah, I could go straight to 90.
Mm-hmm. And just stop there and then work on attack. Get those base.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Mealies.
We will have to see. But yeah, I guess that's again, I'm pretty sure I'm missing something as well, but you know what? Fuck it. I think it's time to hop right into it. Let's talk about some news.
So for this week's news, I mentioned it before about the Dragon Slayer 2 requirements are released, some quality of life buffs, and a little teaser on the gargoyle boss. Not teaser, but kind of.
Yeah, they've been showing the process of designing it and stuff like that, and
yeah,
looks pretty nice.
Yeah, they have some like animations on their news page. Looks really cool. We
talked about it before. I'm pretty sure, and this just kind of confirms out what we were saying, I think, but there's going to be 2 of the bosses. Like, the boss is going to consist of 2 different monsters, I should say. Mm-hmm. And it looks like a female and a male.
Yeah.
Or I shouldn't assume their genders, but it's going to be 2 theys.
Yeah, 2017, man. Come on.
Sorry.
So they talk about the boss and say that like it should be released at the end of October,
which is awesome because I've mentioned before that we're moving at the beginning of next month sort of deal, and I booked off 3 days just to pack up and move and stuff, and the gargoyles might be coming out, or suspected to be coming out one of those days. So I don't know if I'm going to be ready to move.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Maybe to the slack off a little bit. I'll move this box into the office room.
As the guy who like now owns the house is trying to move in. You're just like, hold up, one more kill.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you don't own this place. Get out. I'll be a squatter.
But yeah, so they have a couple animations or a animation for the bosses on their page. It looks really cool. Pretty excited.
Yeah, they look fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they have the Dragon Slayer 2 requirements. So yeah,
big.
They say keep in mind that the difficulty of a quest should not be indicated by the skill requirements as locked behind. You'll have to complete numerous puzzles and face against many a difficult boss in order to complete this quest.
Yeah, that's a disclaimer you got to throw in there because I was listening to the QA when they were doing it, the live stream when they announced it, and got flooded with people being like, "What? Way too low." But
so you need 200 quest points, and
pretty good.
You'll need a Legends quest done. You'll need Dream Mentor, A Tale of Two Cats, Animal Magnetism, Ghost Ahoy, Bon Voyage, and A Client of Corand.
Cool.
And for the skill requirements, you need 75 magic, 70 smithing, 68 mining, 62 crafting, 60 agility, 60 thieving, 50 construction, 50 hit points.
50 hit points seem a little out of place there,
yeah,
but
that seemed,
whatever.
That seemed like really, weird, but alright. I'll take it.
I'm sure that's there. Maybe there's something that's going to hit you for 50 or 49 or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe there's an item you need 50 HP for, but what do you think about those the requirements?
I find with the quest point stuff, like, okay, 200 quest point, I'm fine with that. Because
that's pretty good.
The max is steep. 253 right now. So you're gonna have most of these quests done. Maybe not Dream Mentor, but you'll have most of these quests done if you have the quest points, which is kind of weird. But I guess it's kind of like intentional. I don't know. It's weird. Like Bone Voyage, Clan of Karan, like Animal Magnetism for like a quest that needs 200 quest points.
Yeah. Maybe some of those are like you need those done because you have to go talk to this guy, and the only way you can talk to him is when you complete the quest. Yeah,
but it's weird that like Monkey Madness 2 isn't Morning's End Part like 2, like the
I see what
aren't
you're saying.
Like the requirements, but
you got Dream Mentor and Legends Quest.
Maybe they're keeping Pures in mind or something. I'm not not really too sure. I was kind of expecting like Desert Treasure, like Lunars maybe, like, you know what I mean, like all those like RFD, like those big ticket quests to be done, to be able to get this quest done, but
yeah, that's a good point actually. Now that you mention it, but maybe they're saving it for something else, right? They don't want you going back to the Desert Treasure Pyramid for 14 different quests.
Yeah, exactly. They definitely have their reasons.
Well, what do you think of the skills?
Yeah. So for the skills, I'm kind of fine with it. I don't really see anything that kind of like the 50 hit points we talked about, but yeah, I have no issues with these skill requirements.
See, my initial thought when I first saw it, I was like, kind of being like, oh, those seem way too low for a new Grandmaster quest that's supposed to be even harder than Monkey Madness 2. But then, like, I was seeing other people's points where it's just like, most of the other quests, basically every quest in this game, it's not really barred from having, like, it'd be stupid to have, like, let's say 90 smithing required or something like that, because now someone has to grind in order to do the quest, and if it's going to be hard as fuck anyways, now you have to, on top of that, you gotta put, like, hundreds of hours or whatever, how long it takes to get 90 smithing or something like that. So they kind of want to keep it open, so if you really wanted to, you could at a lower level. See, my only problem I was thinking was like, you know, there's going to be a guy that comes out with like ways that a person with, you know, base 50 health will be able to complete it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like when Monkey Madness 2 and people were able to flinch the one of the bosses.
Yeah.
Now I say one of the bosses because in the second boss, I don't really think there's any way to exploit that. I got my ass kicked the first time.
Yeah, you can save spawn him with the first two phases.
Yeah, that part is fine. I was doing that. You know, I'm like level 112 when I was going in. And by the third phase, he prevents you from doing anything like that.
Yeah.
Right? So I imagine Dragon Slayer 2 will have similar mechanics, maybe multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So, you know, it kind of changed my opinion a bit. I was like, yeah, I guess it makes more sense to leave it open for the more average player to do it. Whether or not you're going to complete it, that's a different story, but at least you're able to start the quest.
Yeah. I kind of agree with them where the difficult, like you shouldn't look at the requirements and be like, oh, that's a hard quest. Like Dream Mentor has one of the higher requirements, like, than like the other quests, and it's not hard at all. It's a really easy quest.
Yeah, that's true. I think you need 85 combat for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think before this, Grim Tales was the highest stat required for a quest.
Yeah.
Unless Monkey Madness 2 has a higher one. But it has 71 woodcutting that's required.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done Grim's Tales, so I don't even know how hard of a quest that is.
I did it, don't remember it at all. So.
Okay, that's...
I can't help you with that.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I'm kind of interested to see what Elvar 2.0 will be like.
Yeah.
Yeah, Elvar still gives people some trouble, but newer players.
It is a hard boss for newer players and shit like that. Because I remember having to help out some lower level people because they just died like 4 or 5 times, and they're like, I just can't beat this fucking boss, and I've died so many times, and I was like, all right, don't tell anyone I did this, but here's some potions that'll make the fight 10 times easier. You give them like an anti-fire potion and, you know, super set.
Mm-hmm.
Then they like go and one-shot it, but
Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
And if
for
we're
that
comparing it with the Monkey Madness 2, the last boss there, and if this is going to be even harder than that,
exactly, that's what I've been thinking.
I'm going to lose so much items.
Yeah, so I hope it's not instanced. It's going to be.
It's going to be instanced.
It's going to be, and I don't want it to be though. But yeah, it's going to. It's going to suck.
They want you to bring that fucking Ring of Life.
Yeah, pretty much.
But okay, what else we got for the news?
Yeah. So, yeah, players are now able to recolor individuals of Graceful at the Brimhaven Agility Arena.
Okay, so this is this a new color?
You, you must have the full set to recolor, and yeah. So what they show is, I don't think that's a new color.
Oh, no. They probably added in afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking of the current colors. Anyways, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can kind of combine shit whenever you want.
Oh, mix and match, kind of get a little colorful set going. Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, you need the full set to be able to do this stuff, but yeah. Yeah, moving on. When traveling around RuneScape, you may come across the occasional minecart. And these dwarves that control these were living in the Dark Ages and would force players to actually communicate with them in order to catch a ride.
Oh, man.
And so now there's a right-click option pretty much to get tickets. I think it's really funny, though, because there's a couple quests where you have to go to the Dwarven area. And there's like, there's like a minecart from the Grand Exchange to like that area.
You know how many times I fucking click on that instead of clicking the shortcut, and next thing you know, I'm in Keldegrim or whatever, and I'm like, oh, God. The worst thing is like, there's like 5 different mining cart tracks there, and they're not labeled, really, so you're just like, oh, I don't know how to get back. I just wanted to go to Edgeville.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the pains of the carts, but they made it a little bit more convenient.
Cool.
Yeah, they have added animated armor, so your armor now has glittering effects, like RS3. No.
Nice.
In the Warriors Guild, when you animate that armor, they've kind of improved it. So, oh wait, sorry.
Right, because I know when you put the armor down,
Yeah.
there'd be like a second where it's just like you can't do anything, and you got to watch while the armor comes alive. Mm-hmm. And you can't even attack it till it walks out and does this little animation.
Yeah,
so and it seems like they cut that back probably.
Yeah, the big thing is in Deadman mode, very common strategy is to wait for someone to start doing the animated armor, like placing it, and then there's a long animation. You can easily spec someone out during it.
Right, and they can't eat or anything.
Yeah, and the numbers don't even come up until they're done, and you can't put on prayers or anything. Like if you have no prayer, like overhead up, and you're eating some DDS specs, like chances are you're dead. Cause yeah, you'll finish and just take, 12 hits at the same time.
Yeah, seems like a bitch.
Yeah. Yes, they've buffed it, I guess. They reduced the time, so kind of want to see how that changes Deadman mode, Warrior Guild PKing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Players will now be able to clear the chat box. You can right-click the public chat stone, and underneath the chat box there's clear, which is nice because I want to do that all the time. Especially if I run through the Grand Exchange to like get something and then go to Slayer and I'm stuck with like join our CC. Like, yeah,
I was just gonna say that.
Join our CC, wild CC, like fucking boss.
Sorry, man, I got like 13 guys sitting there. Yeah, spamming our CC.
Some people on payroll. But
glad to see that.
Yeah. In other news, like there's little random things like valuable item drop warnings are now triggered more reliably for valueless items, but in a large stack.
Valuable item drop warnings are now triggered more reliably for valueless items. So that's kind of confusing, but I think I get what it means.
So let's say you have a mil worth of watermelons or ashes or something, and you accidentally drop it. Like, you can rely on the indicator saying, you sure you want to drop this? Because I guess some items, if they're cheap enough, and the stack, you know what I mean? The stack was too big. Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah, they have like a lot of little random things. They fixed clipping issues and whatnot. And, yeah.
I see the newcomer map got a little, not an upgrade, but they took out a blue line that would go right through the interface.
Yeah. It's
Do you remember the newcomer map?
I do. I have not opened it in like 12 years now that I think about it.
Yeah, like I remember I would randomly come across it and I'd be like, this exists? Oh, yes, this does exist. Because I remember seeing, like, getting it when I was like a noob or something. It says here, it's the way, like, the newcomer map, handed out to newer players and sold in the Lumber's general store. I don't remember ever having it handed out to me when I started the game. And maybe it did. Maybe I was just wrong, but I remember just kind of stumbling across it, being like, oh, this is a great item for new players. It's a shame I didn't have this when I was a new player, sort of deal.
Yeah.
But it's the most basic map, especially now that we have the world map. I don't know. But anyways.
Content.
Yeah, you click it, and it would just be like, oh, Lumbridge, you are here. And then it would be like, Varrock is this direction, Falador is this direction, Draenor Village this direction. Draenor Village might not have even been on the map, but it was a super minimal map just to like point you where to go.
Mm-hmm.
Would describe nothing else. But fuck, man, I remember. I'm just having a blast from the past right now, but I remember coming up to those crossroads at like the Draenor. One would lead to Draenor Manor, one would lead to, I think, Varrock, and one would lead to the Falador area or Port Sarim. And constantly clicking on like the signs to see like, oh, the signs read go this direction or that direction.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Being like, huh, I'm glad these signs are there, or else I'd be lost.
Yeah, I remember getting lost a couple times.
And then, yeah, you'd find a crossroad and be like, oh, thank God, some signs. Oh, a main intersection, thank God.
I remember being at Draenor Village and asking how to get to Varrock, like, way back in the day. And some dude saying, yeah, go north and, like, go around the mansion, go around the gate, and then go east. And I, like, just didn't use the compass or anything. I just, like, I went around it, and then the next thing I know, I'm like...
North always means up, right?
That's pretty... I probably did some dumb shit like that. But, I remember, like, just finding myself at the monastery. It's like, okay, this probably isn't Varrock. Okay, I know if I keep going this way, there's the wilderness, so I'm not going that way.
I was expecting you to say... Oh, sorry, go on.
I ended up just, like, stumbling to Falador, and some dude just, like, walked me to Varrock. I was like, okay, cool.
Follow me, youngin. I was expecting you to say, like, you got trapped at the Draenor Manor, and then the fucking trees just end up killing you. That son of a bitch lured me. Yeah. But, cool. I think is that it for the updates, really?
Yeah, we're good for the updates.
Basically good for the updates. I guess some notable or newsworthy things that have been going on in the community. An uproar of Bodhi's hardcore Iron Man died.
Yep.
He disconnected while killing bandos. So yeah, that happened. At the same time, a hardcore Iron Man was able to completely max his account out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's great. Congratulations to Guile.
Yeah, Guile.
So it's pretty fucking nuts.
Yeah, I think Alfie also died on his hardcore Iron Man.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
What was he doing? He was doing some dumb shit. He always dies doing dumb shit.
Oh, we have it right here. Let's see. Oh, I just saw it right now. He got comboed at Cerberus. He got the kill, and then the ghost comboed him out. So that's unfortunate. So yeah, that'll happen in the hardcore Iron Man world.
Yeah.
I'm having trouble figuring out if this was an actual meme or not. But I saw some posts about skulls popping up on people's game. I saw people posting about them being in a barbarian village and there'd just be a random ghostly figure standing there and you couldn't really interact with it at all.
Really?
I saw like a couple posts like that. Only a couple. This is why I'm confused. And then I saw a bunch of jokes about that shit. And then I myself never saw any of that kind of stuff.
Maybe it's little teaser for Halloween coming out.
Yeah, I'm curious if like it actually exists or not. But that'd be pretty. That's I don't know I don't know. I don't got much more than that for you guys. What else? Big debate because in the QA they mentioned about getting rid of the ditch at the wilderness.
Yeah.
This was something Mod Kieran's been kind of pushing for some reason. I don't really know, and a lot of people are kind of saying, yeah, we should get rid of the ditch.
Yeah. Ditch the ditch.
Ditch the ditch. I'm a little confused on this one because I don't know. People are just saying it looks ugly or something like that, but
yeah.
I personally, I kind of like the ditch. I know I might get some hate for this, but it's a clear divider of when the wilderness kind of starts. And I know most of us know that, and there's like a little warning that would pop up saying you're about to enter the wilderness and stuff like that. But at the same time, if you're running back and forth a bunch or something like that, it only pops up the first time, really, before you log out. But yeah, it was a clear indicator of when the wilderness was going to start.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of reasons why they want to do it. One, Jagex wants to start luring people.
Yeah.
I think that's the main reason. No, but like, I do think the ditch doesn't look too good. It looks pretty ugly. And,
yes, I mean, yeah.
And there's also this weird thing that supposedly you can't take damage while you're jumping over it.
Oh, yeah, no, you can't.
So people, like, rushers can use that, like 10 HP, like, dark bow rushers can use that to their advantage. They'll spec someone out and immediately jump over it so they can't die. So it is being abused a little bit, but I think their biggest reason, I'm assuming, is that when mobile comes out, these people go, oh man, I remember RuneScape, oh, is it still the same? There's a ditch, you know what I mean? Like, I mean,
I'm just curious if people are actually going to think that, or if they're just going to be like, oh, this thing's there, and now I'm in the wilderness, or I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm trying to wrap my head around it.
They do need a good indicator for the wilderness, but I find like it's so intrusive, that ditch. I've never liked the ditch. I've never I remember when they came out with the ditch and going on some like RuneScape like forum website. Maybe it was even just the RuneScape forums, but some dude was really upset and he did the math. Like, if you were to craft nature runes as soon as you could in the abyss to 99, and it was like the amount of time you wasted jumping over the ditch. And I remember reading that and being like, what? That is so much time wasted. What the hell? I don't remember what the exact numbers were, but I just remember being like amazed on like how many like hours were pretty much just thrown out because you're clicking a ditch.
Yeah, I remember seeing the same thing when it first came out. I think it was something like 20 hours you had to do of extra rune crafting or something like that. Mm-hmm. It was something where it was like kind of a lot, but then again, you're sinking in like 20,000 hours into rune crafting anyways to level it up to 99.
Yeah, but imagine clicking on a ditch for 20 hours straight.
I mean, yeah, but I think it's a little bit more different than that. But yeah, remember that Outrage came out, and yeah, originally they put the ditch there was to make it so that you couldn't really get lured into the wilderness. Like, people still got lured, but instead of just having to be able to click out into the wilderness to boom, now you're in the PvP zone. Now you had to click on the ditch and then click on the PvP zone, so you knew more of what you're getting into.
Yeah,
you knew the risks, I should say. Because there's a bunch of famous lurers and stuff like that who would put down like 10k, because a 10k gold stack looks the same as 20 mil. Mm-hmm. So they put down 10k and they'd be like, "Hey, I left 2 mil there out there for you," and so many videos, because it's the way the dropping items and shit, or getting killed with items and like what you kept when you died was different back then. I think it worked on the stats or something like that. I can't even remember how it worked, but if you had a Santa hat and nothing else on, and then you picked up 4 GP and then you died, you'd lose your Santa hat. You'd keep the 3 GP.
Yeah.
Or 4 if you had the protect item on. But so yeah, people would drop the 10k. Some guy would go out there, pick it up. They get killed and they would lose their party hat or something. And happened a bunch. And then they put the fucking ditch there. Might have helped a little bit. But it's funny. So yeah, we were talking about the rune crafting, how people bitched when it first came out that it's going to add an extra 20 hours to your rune crafting experience when you're getting 99. So now it's the opposite. When people are talking about taking it out, people are like, man, I had to get 99 with the ditch. You're going to make it so much easier for other people now. So it's kind of funny to see how it turned like that.
Yeah. I mean, there's lava runes, right? Why would that person be upset? But I understand the argument.
Yeah, so
flips. But, like, I don't know. I mean, I've never liked the ditch, and I do understand, like, people will lures, like, will become a thing now into the wilderness.
I'm just thinking, now that mobile is going to be coming with all these new players, like, it's like the worst time to take out a ditch, or, like, you know, take out any sort of barrier and stuff like that. If you're going to take it out, maybe replace it or make it look nicer and more fitting, maybe. I don't know how you would do that, but
I
to just remove it in general?
I would like a better indicator, like a good indicator of when the wilderness is, and then, yeah, like that's it. Like, just not make it so intrusive where you have to, like, click around an obstacle, and they could just, like, visually have it, you know, nice.
They have a bunch of signs with skulls on it as it is, and that warning does pop up when you get there. But I know myself, I just start ignoring every single warning that pops up. I instantly click close and just keep going. And sometimes I'll be like, "What did that warning exactly say?" I don't remember. But I guess at that point, you know, I don't know. It's very controversial, I suppose. I just think it's a weird time to take it away when you're going to have these new players coming in.
Yeah, it is a weird time, but I don't know. I think they probably have their reasons. Who knows? It might not even, like, go through and get into the polls and stuff.
Yeah, we'll have to see. And I think that's basically it. Yeah, so there you go. That's the news and all the goings on, and this week we're finally gonna be bringing to you one of our new segments. We're going to bring to you some lore. Some good old RuneScape lore. I'm going to plan to keep these brief. Hopefully no more than 5 minutes. Yeah, anyways, we're going to start with the Genesis. The creation of the RuneScape world. The very beginning of Gielinor. Most of us know of the gods that already exist in RuneScape. You know, you got Guthix, Saradomin, Zamrock. There's a few more, but not many of us are aware of the Elder Gods. And to be honest, there's not much information on the Elder Gods, at least in the old school RuneScape world. The Elder Gods are your typical godlike beings. Like I just said, we really don't know much about them, but we do know that the Teasers race, one of the oldest races in RuneScape, are awaiting for the gods to awaken one day, or to come back to them. We don't know how many Elder Gods there actually are. That's a lie, we kind of do, there's 5 of them. But we do know they are responsible for creating every single world in the universe, as well as the universes and galaxies themselves. Gielinor is their version of a perfect world, a utopia. When they first created this world, though, they left it void of basically any life. They are not responsible for the life on it itself, but responsible for just the creation of the actual world. So, like I said, there's really not much we know about the Elder Gods, except for they are basically one step above the gods that we already know of, which are actually referred to as the Young Gods. So there's really not much more that I can think of to talk about of the Elder Gods, unless we want to get into the RuneScape 3 lore. But we're not gonna go too far into that stuff. We're gonna keep it pretty brief, just because old school RuneScape is kind of at a timeline before RuneScape 3. So we're not gonna get too much into that sort of stuff. But like I said, we're gonna keep it pretty brief, and we're just gonna build on it with each episode. So next week we'll probably dive in more about the Young Gods itself, or something along those lines. So there you have it. Some old school RuneScape lore in a nutshell. I think that's what we should start calling that segment. But if you're a lore junkie yourselves, let me know how I did. Because this was actually my second take I had to do on it, because I feel like I butchered it the first time. And I hope this time was a little bit better for you guys. I think that's basically all we have this week. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it, actually.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, okay, that's basically it. So guys, if you guys want to send us, feedback, messages, questions, just get in touch with us at all. There's a bunch of different ways you guys can go about doing that. We have a Twitter. You can get there, you can find us on Twitter at The Wilderness RS. Our Facebook is facebook.com/TheWildernessPodcast. Our email is thewildernesspodcast@gmail.com. Our in-game clan chat is WildCC. And we have a Discord, which is posted on the Facebook, and I gotta get that pinned on our Twitter, but it's out there. And if you guys also want to join, but you can't find it, just let us know in game or send us an email, whatever it is, and we'll get a link out to you. And
it'd be nice if Discord sponsored us, so you could just type in discord.gg/wildcc. But
I was looking it up. You gotta get partnered with them, and you send them basically a request.
Yep.
So I've thought about doing that. So, maybe we'll have that in the future. And if you want to subscribe to us on YouTube, which you can basically get all these shows again on YouTube, it's just find the Wilderness Podcast out there. And yeah, I think that's about it. Got anything to look forward to next week besides no school? Lots of RuneScape?
Not really, because I'm going to be doing Blast Furnace, but...
oh, that's right. Exciting.
Yeah, maybe I'll get some more raids done. I'm kind of hoping that will keep me sane. Do a couple hours of Blast Furnace, do a raid, rinse, repeat.
That sounds like fun. That sounds like a good thing to bounce back to, I guess, in between. Yeah. Blech, I don't know. Yeah, I can't wait to fucking move and get this, I talked about before, but get a little podcasting studio going,
Yeah.
Maybe I'll learn how to stream, do a little bit of that as well. We've mentioned about having some events, with the people in our clan chat, or even if you're not in our clan chat, something you guys could come and join and do. Something like Barbarian Assault or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe wait till I get settled into the new place, get all the internet hooked up and stuff like that before we actually set a date for that, because I was thinking maybe we set one up for this weekend or the next weekend, but I got to make the call soon to switch my internet, and I don't know when they're going to cut us.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have to run over to the public library, kick the kids off Minecraft.
Yeah.
Shit. So yeah, we'll probably set something up in the next month, November. But yeah, we'll have to set up some fun events. Like that. Yeah. That being said, I don't think we have anything else left to talk about.
Yeah, I think that's all she wrote.
All right. Cool. This was episode 54. Thank you so much for listening. And again, tune in next week for episode 55.
Yeah. All right.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah. Have a good one.
Later, Gators.